Well, hello again, and welcome to another episode of the Hyperion Adventures podcast. I'm Tom. As always, I'm with my wonderful, intelligent, gorgeous, very hardworking D23 announcement loving wife and co-host, Michelle.
Oh, thank you, sweetie. Hi, everybody.
So good to have you with us. We are recording this episode on Sunday, August 11th, 2024. Yes, the morning after it all went down in Anaheim last night, right, Michelle?
Oh my gosh, yes. So much stuff to go through today. Woo.
So much stuff. Woo. And it's not even over yet. There could be more stuff that comes today for all we know. So whatever happens, happens. But we're going to get through a lot of stuff that's happened over the last couple of days in Anaheim, and we're excited to do so. Thank you for joining us today. In the future, you can find us most everywhere you get podcasts. However, the very best place to find us is on our own website, HyperionAdventuresPodcast.com. Also, we are on social media. We are on Twitter.
X, formerly known as...
at Hyperion Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at Hyperion Adventures Podcast. If you are on Facebook, come on over and join us for some good, positive Disney energy fun on our Hyperion Adventurers Facebook group. Also, we are on YouTube, and we are on YouTube almost every single morning on YouTube for at least a short segment that you may want to join us for. And if you want to find us on YouTube, we are at Hyperion Adventures Podcast there, right, Michelle?
Absolutely. And you're doing an amazing show every morning, and so impressed by it.
Amazing may be a bit of a stretch. We are doing what we can do. Yesterday it was from the road, and it was a little glitchy. And there was another time this week that I had a bit of a coughing fit. I was getting over my illness, but we make it through it as best as we possibly can.
You've been doing great. And, it's like with any experiment, you're going to try to work out some of the bugs. And I think yesterday was a good opportunity.
Yeah, it was our first time doing something live. And the internet connection was not the best. And we had a few problems, but we got it done. We got it worked out, and thanks for everybody who's stuck with me through that. And thanks for, you can definitely tell it is a live show when some of these things go sideways on various different mornings. But again, thanks for everybody who has chimed in and checked in throughout the week. And also, we are, if you ever want to contact us for any reason, please hit us up at our Gmail account, HyperionAdventuresPodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, and want to put another plug in for our newsletter and remind people that we explore some other news topics that we don't get a chance to talk about on the podcast a lot of times because it's visual material that we know it's better to appreciate the information by seeing pictures of it. As Tom mentioned in the past, we do any sweepstakes that come along that involve Disney. So if you're not a subscriber to the newsletter, we really want to invite you to do that.
Michelle is doing a fantastic job with the newsletter. It's all full of Michelle-ness, and she's doing a fantastic job. So you will definitely want to check that out. I don't think I mentioned about the YouTube channel. We are at Hyperion Adventures Podcast there. Please hit subscribe. We are building our subscribers there. We want to continue to do that because the more our subscriber base is built there, the more we can do on that site as well. So just going back to that. But newsletter, YouTube, social media, of course, the podcast. We love however you are connecting with us in all those variety of ways.
Right, exactly.
Now, before we get into this week's show, we always like to take a look back at the week that was because we are the Disney podcast of positivity. And that means we like to focus on those high moments, those wonderful moments, those positive moments from the previous week. We call it My Favorite Thing from This Week. And when we do this, we always start with Michelle because what can I say about her? She is awesome. She's amazing. She's spectacular. She is all things good in the world. She does the best research. She definitely has the best lists. She also always has the very best My Favorite Thing from this week. So, Michelle, what is your favorite thing from this week?
Okay. I think my favorite thing of this week had to do with a very brief trip that we took to Walt Disney World this week. It started on Thursday when the FOMO was really at a critical level for me as well. I happened to take another last minute look at our DVC resorts to see if anything would be available on Friday. And lo and behold, not only was there a room available, but it was at our favorite DVC location, Bay Lake Tower. We had at once thought about going in on Saturday, and we had reservations, but we had canceled those. And so I thought, wow, what if we could go on Friday? And sure enough, it was there. So that was so exciting to be able to do that. And then some fun things throughout that. I'm not going to go through all of it, but I have to say the other positive thing about that for me was the coffee hour at the Top of the World Lounge at Bay Lake Tower that DVC members staying at Bay Lake Tower could do on Saturdays during their welcome home weeks. There's only a couple more weeks left. I think they're only doing that one more week on a Saturday. But I thought we'll go up and get coffee. Maybe they'll have a pastry or two, but it was a really nice spread. It was really fun, and I enjoyed being up there during the daytime.
I agree. It is also probably my favorite thing from this week. It's one of the benefits of one, being DVC member, two, being local, three, being an annual pass holder, that we can do a trip that maybe is less than 24 hours like this one was.
Yeah.
But just get a little dose of Disney in our lives, because we really needed one, because yes, the FOMO was at critical mass this week as D23 was going on, and we weren't there, unfortunately. So, yes, Michelle decided to go ahead and book this trip, and it was a nice little journey out there. We got out there, had a nice dinner, kind of enjoyed the park. Michelle took Scott on the monorail, which is it might as well be his favorite attraction in the whole wide world. He could just ride the monorail all day, and he'd be thrilled. And we got to see some Michelle's family out there. We got to see the crew from Young Adventures and meet with them for a short time.
Way out of their way to come see us. It was so appreciated.
So that was fun. And yes, the coffee experience that we did for these DVC Welcome Home Days was really, really nice. I compared it when we were there. I'm like, this feels like when we've done club level.
Right.
It feels like a club level experience. That's how nice it
service,
was. Yes. Yeah. All up at the Top of the World Lounge, Villain's Lair. So there was that going on too. It was really, really nice. And I really appreciated it. It was just a short thing, and the coffees weren't, out of this world special. It's not like they're whipping up mochas or, lattes or anything like that. They are just, it's basic coffee with some regular stuff that you can put in there to flavor them. Yeah. And then some really nice pastries and fruit and juice and everything else. It was really, really calm and pleasant and nice.
Yes. And I love the beautiful backdrop of the monorail behind the bar. It really showed through yesterday morning as well. And again, a big shout out and thanks to the Young Adventurers, because that crew really went out of their way to come visit us, and we super much appreciated that.
Yeah, I think they pretty much did planes, trains, automobiles to get to us. They did like a bus to a boat to get to us. It was a little bit tricky, but they made it, and it was good to see them, even if it was just for a brief time period. And then we went out to Epcot yesterday and just kind of walked around a little bit and got doused by a rain shower and got completely soaked, but that was kind of interesting and fun. And it just came home and got ready for last night's big D23 announcements.
Right.
That is, like I said, one of my favorite things of this week as well. Also, pretty much everything we're going to talk about today is one of my favorite things this week. And the Olympics continue to be one of my favorite things. Sure. So it's just about done. Right. So I don't know how much longer it'll be one of my favorite things. But man, I have really, really gotten a kick out of this year's Olympics. It's been phenomenal.
Yeah, the added touches the host country of France have put in really, I think, elevate it even more so. And I know we have an action-packed episode today, so I won't go into those details, but I'll just say that. It's been
great. And it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt that the U.S., who we root for, of course, being in the U.S., is doing very, very well at these Olympics. It also doesn't hurt that it's in a city that is one of our favorite cities in the world that we've been to multiple times, and we love it. And we've been to many of the locations or near many of the locations where the events are taking place in Paris. So I think all those put together is just really been exceptional. It's been a really, really special Olympics for us. We've really enjoyed this coverage, and we're looking forward to 2028 and the Los Angeles Olympics. We're already plotting out, going to try and make it out there to at least see a few events. hopefully some of our family will let us kick back on their couch, to kind of stay while we're out there, but we'll figure it all out.
Right.
Moving into 4 years from now. We did. Now, this came in last week, and it came in just after we recorded last week's episode.
So close to our episode.
But I did bring it up on our Hyperion mornings, our little live shows that we're doing on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. So I did bring it up, but I also wanted to bring it up for this episode. So this came from Lori last week. It was her favorite thing from this week. She said, "Hi, Tom and Michelle. Hope you're having a good weekend and enjoying the Olympics. I'm a little late with this favorite thing because it's actually from a week ago, now 2 weeks ago. I come from a family of Olympic fans, and we have a tradition that I think you'll love. For 20 years, my sister has hosted a party for the Olympic opening ceremonies where the decorations and menu are based on the host country. So this year, we had all sorts of French pastries, soft cheeses, and even Niçoise salad. It's a great way to kick off the special 2 weeks of the Olympics. The 2026 Winter Olympics are in Milan, so start working on your Italian menu now. Have a great week." That's from Lori. We did something somewhat similar. We did have some cheeses and some
French
baguettes, and we also did break out some French wine as well. Not quite as elaborate as what Lori and her family are doing, but we did have a little piece of that. But I love that idea.
I do too.
That is a great way to just set the mood as you move into the Olympics.
I know. I think it's a tradition that we need to also emulate for
just
ourselves.
Kind of absorb into our own system.
Love that idea.
Agree.
And thank you so much for sharing it with us too.
100%. That was really, really nice. So that's great. And again, loving the Olympics. Loving the Olympics so very much. Let's go ahead and get on to this week's show. We have lots of stuff for you this week. But basically, because this week is all the Disney stories of the week, that the main topic will encompass the Disney stories of the week. However, we will have another piece of the Year of Lin. Mm-hmm. That may also tie into what we're dealing with today. And of course, we always share a tip that might help you on your next vacation. So that's coming up too. But that's later.
And a very special announcement too.
Oh, a very special announcement. It has
That'll
to do with an
coming.
Upcoming episode.
Yes,
You're going to want to hear about that too.
We'll definitely want to hear about
It's a good point.
that.
I'm glad you pointed that out, Michelle. Mm-hmm. Stick around till the end of the show. You're going to want to hear about something coming up that's really, really cool. I wish it was the Year of Lin. It's not, but it's almost equally as good. It is
equal. It's spectacular.
Yeah. I just don't want
You'll be blown
I don't
away.
want anybody to think that is the announcement.
Right.
No. That's coming later because we're going to make that happen. But this week's the next announcement we're going to have is going to be cool too. But
blow
that's
you away.
all later. Let's go ahead and get to our very D23 main topic of the week. So, of course, this week's main topic, it has to be all about the stuff that is coming out of the D23 Expo, also known or now known as the D23, the Ultimate Disney Fan Event. It's too long a name. I still like just calling it the D23 Expo, but whatever. If I slip into that, just know I know what the name is. But I will always call it the D23 Expo, right, Michelle?
Right. Well, even when we were talking with Michael, who's the head of D23 recently, he said, they still fondly call it the Expo, or they used all the initials because it's just such a long name.
Yeah.
So.
But it's all good.
Yep.
And boy, was the stuff that came out of it all good. And there still could be more stuff that comes out today. We don't know. I think most of the big stuff has come out already, but there could be some other interesting news that pops today that is after we record this episode. Yeah,
and then the Legends Awards are going to be streamed on Disney Plus as well, so people can watch that.
Yeah, a day later. It happens tonight, but you can watch it beginning on Monday, the 12th, on Disney Plus, and we will be checking that out as well. So I'm going to start with what happened on Friday night. It is the entertainment showcase that was at the D23 at the Honda Center, which I think the Honda Center, actually, I think people who have gone there have said the Honda Center was a hit. They're really, really happy with what has been going on at the Honda Center and how Disney's embraced it, how there have been be able to be more people there, how much energy is there. We know that how much energy is at the D23 Expo anyway, but you put that into an arena where everybody's around and just having a good old time. I think that has been a success so far.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely gives the opportunity for more people to see these big panels, which in the past you may or may not have been able to fit into the room to see it. So that's been a real plus, and it has opened up some space for some really other exciting things at the convention center to be available for guests who go there too.
And it's also opened up your day. Like if you were going to go to these panels, a lot of times you had to wait in lines for hours on end to try and get into these panels to go see them. And you may have only made them occasionally. You may not even made it in, but so it was keeping you from exploring the floor, keeping you from exploring possibly some other panels that you might have wanted to see because you really wanted to see these big panels. Now, if you're going to this, you're locked in, you have a seat set, you don't have to worry about waiting in line or anything. It's just a matter of getting over there, whether it be through their transportation or your own transportation, whatever it was. And so that frees you up to do other things. And if for whatever reason you didn't land a spot there, they had other panels that were going on kind of near those times that you could have also seen. Like I know they had the Disney Princess in Concert, which they had some phenomenal stuff happen at that. That we saw some video from. That was something that took place while maybe you would have been at the Honda Center. Yeah, you missed that if you went to the Honda Center, but I think if you couldn't make it to the Honda Center, you did get some pretty cool stuff that you were able to experience. So I'm going to go ahead. We are going to first talk a little bit about what happened on Friday night. Again, it was the entertainment panel, entertainment showcase. So that's all the films, all the Disney Plus shows, all that stuff, Lucasfilm, Marvel, Disney Animation, Pixar, all that stuff. A lot of it was stuff we kind of knew was already coming. There were a few new things announced, but a lot of it was more stuff we already knew. There were more trailers that dropped and everything. I'm going to run through it very, very quickly here. I may chime in on a couple things. Michelle, if there's something that you want to chime in on, just wave your hand at me frantically and I'll stop down and we can go over that as well. But and I got this list. I want to thank Tony, the Disney dad, who has been passing me a lot of great information. Some I knew about, some that he dug out of other places. Like I think a lot of this came from WDW magazine, but Tony, the Disney dad, thank you for doing a lot of work to get me this stuff. So it made my prep for today much, much easier because there might have been a thing or two that I missed here. So let's go ahead and run it down. I thought, and I'm going to say this right off the bat, I'm surprised that they started with Moana 2 because I expected they was going to be their big build-up because that is their big animated film that they're excited about that's going to be coming in November. No, apparently they feel so comfortable with all this and with their lineup and with how Moana 2 is going to do that they can just go ahead and lead off with that. And that was exciting. So they talked about Moana 2. Leah Carvalho came out, sang a song. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson came out as well. And they gave us a new trailer for Moana 2, and it looked spectacular. While The Rock was out there, Dwayne Johnson, he announced a new movie called Monster Jam, apparently on the Monster Truck, series that they have that tours arenas, something based on that, I guess. I don't know. I'm interested to find out what it is. From Pixar, Inside Out is releasing an inspired Disney Plus series, an Inside Out inspired Disney Plus series that is going to be called something along the lines of Dream Productions. So it's going to look behind the scenes of Dream Productions, the ones that put on the dreams in like Riley's head. That will be interesting. Pixar was also going to release its first original long-form series called Win or Lose. We've known that for a while. They may have announced that back in 2019. It's very familiar to me we've known about that for a long time. It's going to look at, I think it's just one baseball game, and it's going to focus on different viewpoints, if I'm not mistaken, from different characters on it during each episode as they go through it. So, one time it might be from the coach, one time it might be from the pitcher, whatever, and how they experienced that game. And I think that's going to be fascinating to see how that all turns out for sure. We also heard about Toy Story 5 coming in 2026. Apparently that is going to be something along the lines of toys versus tech. So kids with their tablets and everything, maybe not playing with their toys as much. I think it's an interesting concept. Can't wait to see it. We heard about a brand new original Pixar film, Hoppers, which is coming in 2026 as well. A little bit about that. Apparently, it's like a robot brain, or a brain that gets put into a robot beaver or something like that. I don't know. Interesting to find out about that. Another new film coming in 2025 is Ilio, which is going to take place in outer space. Very cool. We also heard, this was the first time I think this was announced, Incredibles 3 confirmed, coming. Excited for that. Love the Incredibles franchise for sure. Meanwhile, back over at Disney Animation, Zootopia 2 coming November 2025. Got a little bit of a peek of that. We also heard more about Frozen 3 coming apparently. And again, this was alluded to. I think Bob Iger alluded to this, that it might be a Frozen 4 as well. Well, apparently Frozen 3 and Frozen 4 is going to be the split of kind of one tale told over two movies. The first one coming in 2027. They've pushed that back by a year. Originally, it was announced they were going to bring that out in 2026. I think they want to take a little bit more time, build this story out. So 2027 is now when Frozen 3 will be hitting the theaters. There's also another new original Walt Disney Animation Studio movie in 2026. Don't know what that is yet, but can't wait to find out more about that. Big news if you like Broadway stage shows, because there was some big stuff that came out of this panel, including #RealMenLoveFrozen. Well, Frozen on Broadway will premiere the stage to screen shooting of when it was on Broadway will be on Disney Plus in 2025. Excited for that because we missed our opportunity to go see Frozen on the stage. It was the touring group, but we had tickets to go see it in March of 2020. Something happened in March of 2020 that allowed us not to see that.
Yes.
I don't know what that was, but unfortunately,
rough.
we were not able to see the Frozen stage show. And then it, since it's moved off of Broadway, it's not there anymore. We thought maybe we might still see it in a touring group at some point. We still may, but at least we know for sure we will be able to watch that with the original cast on Disney Plus coming up soon. Also, big news. We are huge Hercules fans, and this is exciting because Hercules, there's a Broadway style show of Hercules, which is coming to London's West End in summer of 2024. I think that's built to be a Broadway show, and I'm excited for that. Speaking of something that's built to be a Broadway show, and I think we've thought this for a long time, and it didn't completely surprise me that this actually is happening. In development now, The Greatest Showman is getting set, geared up to be brought to Broadway. That's exciting stuff as well. As far as Lucasfilm and Star Wars, well, we got a peek at the new Star Wars series Skeleton Crew, which is coming to Disney Plus this December with a 2-episode premiere. Looks great. Looks kind of like a little bit of the Goonies meets Star Wars, maybe a little bit of a Captain EO vibe going there. It looks a lot of fun, and it's going to swing a little bit younger based, but Star Wars, I kind of feel should swing a little younger based. That's what George intended to begin with, and I think that's kind of where this is going. I'm excited. Seeing the trailer made me excited for this series. I'm looking forward to the fun and craziness that comes out of this series. Andor Season 2 is been discussed, and Season 2 will take place apparently over a 4-year period. Every 3 episodes is going to equal kind of 1 year, and looks like there's going to be lots of Rogue One, apparently, actors that may be making some appearances back in that from the stuff that they showed out there at D23. Also, we learned Mandalorian and Grogu film will be releasing in May of 2026, and apparently the stuff they showed, there were several Rebels characters that were in that footage. That's exciting stuff. Moving over to Marvel, they showed a new Captain America Brave New World footage while they were there. They showed some of the first Fantastic Four first steps footage while we're going on there. They announced, they've talked about this in the past, but they gave it a little bit more information on Ironheart, which will be a show that's coming to Disney Plus next year. Also, confirmation, there was a rumor, but now it's confirmation, Daredevil Born Again will be coming to Disney Plus in March. So Daredevil coming back, and a lot of the, if you know the old Netflix series Daredevil, when they brought that out, a lot of the characters apparently that were in that series are also going to be coming to this series as well. That's exciting.
Cool.
Yeah. We saw some more footage from Agatha All Along in a new trailer, which is coming to Disney Plus just in time for a Halloween. It looks spooky, crazy, kooky. I'm excited. I can't wait to see what this series is like. It looks like it might be a little dark, but I think it's going to be kind of fun just the same time. Also, Avatar. We learned about the new Avatar movie, our Avatar 3, which will be named Avatar Fire and Ash. Moving to another, we've gone from, basically dealing with the trees and life in general to the water. Now we're getting to fire. We're dealing with a lot of elements apparently in Avatar. This was interesting, and this is actually how they wrapped it up. Actually, I'll go back to that one in a little bit. Percy Jackson and the Olympians season 2 is in production. This next season is going to be themed to Sea of Monsters. That's coming. Descendants and Zombies World Collide Tour is coming next year. I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's a series or that's an actual music tour coming. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't get the actual information on that, but fascinating. We love the music from Descendants. Actually, we've never seen a Zombies thing, but we love some of the music from Zombies too. So that's kind of cool. I guess this was interesting, and it just apparently blew the minds of all 12,000 plus people that were at the Honda Center. Apparently, David Blaine came on and did a magic trick, and something to do with cards. I guess everybody got a pack of cards in there, and I don't know what the trick was. Since we weren't there, we didn't get to experience it. But everything I saw is our minds are just completely blown. And he did that mostly to promote that he has a new Nat Geo series featuring David Blaine coming up soon. Michelle, you had a note that you wanted to share with me.
Yeah, I want to go back to the Descendants Zombie World Collide Tour. It is actually a tour.
Okay, so it's a music tour, like a concert tour.
Right. That it's using those brands to come together. And it says the arena tour will be an immersive and interactive live concert experience celebrating the high energy music from the Descendants and Zombies franchises.
That's kind of the impression I got out of it from what I just briefly read, but I didn't want to commit to that in case it was something different. So
yeah, this comes from Disney Concerts. So.
No, there you go. Yeah. That's straight from the source. Very good. That's exciting. Also, Freaky Friday sequel, Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis took the stage and they gave us the title for the sequel that's coming out. It is going to be Freakier Friday, and that is coming out next year. I don't know if they've wrapped production yet, but I know they started it a couple months ago.
Yeah, it's nice seeing them back together, and they did share, a little TikTok video of them, embracing together, and it's just cute that the two of them are back.
Absolutely, 100%. We also got to see for the first time the Stitch that will be coming from the Lilo and Stitch live action, which is coming in summer of 2025. They gave us a peek at what Stitch will kind of look like in that series. I thought he looked great. There was some dispute out there on social media. Some didn't think he looked great. I thought it was perfect. I thought it looks like Stitch, CG Stitch. I liked it. I thought it was great. I thought it was fantastic. Again, that's coming summer of 2025. We also got a trailer for the live action Snow White. That looked very good. Very excited for that. That's coming March 21st of 2025. And we received some information on the next Tron movie. Tron Eras is what it's called. And 9 Inch Nails is composing the music for that film, and that it will be debuting next year as well, October 10th, 2025. I thought it was fascinating how they wrapped this whole thing up. I'm going back to this now. So they wrapped it all up with Mufasa. I was a little surprised by that is what they closed this entertainment showcase out with. I was kind of, when hearing Mufasa was coming out, look, the live action, quote unquote, Lion King, it was fine.
Yeah.
It was fine.
Very much a replica of the
it was
animation.
Almost completely a shot for shot of the animated film. I'd rather watch the animated film, which I think is a classic, than the live action, but I was okay with it. It did very well at the box office. So when I heard they were doing a Mufasa movie, I'm like, okay, great. Let's hear about it. What's going on? Then they dropped the trailer for it. Oh, man. I am sold on this story. I want to hear more. I want to find out what's going on with this. And for everybody that's complaining about, these are all sequels and they're all stuff that's tied with different things, different franchises, whatever. This is a truly original story. This is, yes, it's a prequel to The Lion King, but it is an original story. It's not like they're retelling The Lion King here. They're just leading into what happens. So, but when I saw the trailer, I was sold. I'm like, I got to see this movie. And then they also mentioned that, oh, by the way, Lin Manuel Miranda happens to be doing the music for it. Okay, then I'm completely on board, right?
I know. I was really surprised that wasn't on your radar because I've known that for quite a while.
I think I'd heard that at some point, but I completely pushed it out of my memory until that. So when they announced it again, I'm like, oh man, that is awesome. But yeah, seeing the trailer, I was like, wow, I want to know more about this story. I can't wait to find out more about it. I thought that what I saw just from the trailer alone, that the animation, the CG work that they're doing with some of the characters, the various different lions, looked better, looked like they were more expressive than I thought. I think that was a problem with The Lion King before, is that they didn't kind of have that emotion come across that you had with the animated film.
Right, yeah.
The original animated film. I guess technically the live action Lion King was kind of an animated film.
Right. Different type of animation.
Yeah, but I'm excited for it. I think it might be great, and I think that they feel it might be great too, and that's the reason why they decided to close out the show with it.
Yeah, and it like you said, it's not just an original story. It has already unexpected elements of it. The fact that Mufasa isn't necessarily, from what it looks like, a descendant of a king himself.
I can't wait.
As they said, an orphan.
I can't wait to find out more and dig into this story and the backstory of Mufasa and Scar, who I guess his name was Taka or Taka or something like that, or Taka, something like that. They mentioned it during the trailer. Sorry, I'm blanking on exactly how you pronounce it right now, but very cool. I can't wait. I'm thrilled for that. Moana 2 is going to be great. I know that's going to be fantastic as well. So we're going to finish up the year with some really, really good films that are coming out of Disney and their different various branches of the company.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. Can't wait for all these things.
Yeah. Speaking of can't wait, okay, well, let's get to it. This is what everybody was building up to, and we knew it was going to be nuts. And we told you, we've been telling you this for weeks, that we were absolutely sure that this year, the Parks and Experiences panel, or as they called it, Horizons, the Parks and Experiences Showcase, was going to be off the chain. It was going to be phenomenal. They were going to do some real stuff and talk about some really big things that are coming. And right off the bat, as this thing started, Josh D'Amaro said, and I'm paraphrasing here, basically, this isn't blue sky, since everybody's complaining about blue sky for the last few years. This is stuff that is actually in production. And that's exciting news, right, Michelle?
Right. Yeah. It's interesting on the Disney Parks blog webpage where they describe a lot of these things that were announced. In each one of them, in each of the sections, they're really emphasizing that Josh's quote says that Disney experiences Imagineers dream, create, design, and build these stories into real places. And we have Imagineers in place right now all around the world because everything we're going to share with you is in active development. Plans are drawn, dirt is moving. And I want to be clear about this. We are doing everything you're going to hear tonight. And that's on like every page of the Disney Parks blog description of the announcement.
Yeah, he just shut it down right at the beginning. Like, I've heard your criticism of us doing blue sky, which I think they were, I think there was a lot of things up in the air which made them do kind of the blue sky thing for the last couple of shows. The last D23 Expo, Destination D23 as well. I think there were kind of a lot of balls in the air that they needed to get settled in. And now that those were settled, that they could commit fully to these things and say that they're going to happen. So he was like right off the bat, like this is happening. And so we're going to go through a lot of this stuff that is happening. I'm going to thank I got a lot of this stuff from one of our favorite follows. If you like Disney news on social media, Scott Gustin, you can find him on Twitter at Scott Gustin. Also, Tony the Disney Dad filled up any gaps. He gave me a long list of stuff as well. I think he got that.
He's amazing.
Yeah, he got that from WDW Magazine again, just like he did the entertainment stuff, I think. So he filled in some gaps that were missing. So a lot of this stuff came from both those sources and a couple other sources as well, Disney Parks blog and stuff. But mainly I went through because Scott Gustin did a really good breakdown as this was going on throughout the evening. So how am I going to go through this? I'm going to go through a few different things. I'm going to start with a couple different things, go to foreign parks, Disney Cruise Line, onto the U.S. parks. Start with, we stayed up late and did the stream on Fortnite.
Yep.
And we were hoping for a little bit more. We did get one park announcement out of it, but mostly it was all about Fortnite and what's coming with Fortnite. And there is some really cool stuff that's coming to Fortnite that is Disney related. They brought out many of the big names that you know, Kevin Feige, Dave Filoni, Pete Docter, Jennifer Lee, all to talk about their different things that are going to be happening with Fortnite. For Disney Animation, there's going to be a villains portion of it. Again, I don't know how you exactly say this. I'm not well enough. We just signed up for Fortnite just the other night. Don't know exactly what you call it, but a Fortnite portion, or excuse me, a villains portion of Fortnite. For Pixar, there's going to be an Incredibles addition to Fortnite. From Lucasfilm, there's a Mandalorian build out going on there. And from Marvel, there was big news just a couple of weeks ago at Comic-Con. Yes, Doctor Doom is coming to Fortnite. So that was really cool.
Yeah, and some things are coming as early as next week.
Right. And
some are for the future.
I'm glad we have it because we may be, but next time you hear this be on the air again, I may be a Fortnite aficionado because I may be playing Fortnite if some of this stuff is coming there because now we've downloaded it. We may start playing very, very soon. All right, moving on to some of the global Disney parks. Shanghai Disney Resort announced that they have a new Spider-Man coaster coming to Shanghai Disneyland Resort. That looks cool. Spider-Man hits across the board. Young, old alike. More Spider-Man is a good thing for Disney. It's a good thing to be in the parks. So glad that there's going to be that happening. Also, Hong Kong Disney Resort, they announced a new very large Spider-Man addition to their park. Looked from the concept art that was almost going to be something like a Tower of Terror with Spider-Man, almost like he's using his web to hold up the elevator car or something like that. Now, again, it's just from concept art. I have no information on that. They didn't share any information on that. That's just kind of what the visual looked like to me.
Right. I think for both of those parks, Hong Kong and Shanghai, they really haven't mentioned names of the attractions or like the opening dates and things like that. Some of the other things that we're going to be sharing, they have given that information, but those they really haven't given that information yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we'll be finding out more about that in the coming years for sure. Tokyo Disney Resort, they have a new nighttime spectacular, Reach for the Stars, featuring Up, Marvel, and more, which will begin on September 20th. So that's coming up just next month if you happen to be going out there. Brand new nighttime spectacular to check out. Disneyland Paris, this was good news for me personally because, we at one point were talking about next year taking a trip for our 20th wedding anniversary out to Disneyland Paris, out to Paris and out to Disneyland Paris. And then we just, for whatever reason, we decided that maybe that wasn't the best time to be traveling.
There were some certain things that we have to do in 2025.
We have some other things going on. So we decided to pivot on that trip, turn it into a cruise / Walt Disney World stay that we're going kind of upscale on, kind of change those things around. The reason I think that I'm really glad that that we're not going in 2025 because we learned yesterday that the World of Frozen will be opening on 2026. So part of the reason why we wanted to go out there is because I wanted to see the world of Frozen.
Right.
It wouldn't have even been open if we went in 2025. So the good news is that I'll still have the chance to go check it out, because we will be making another trip to Disneyland Paris sometime, especially seeing the Olympics. It even inspired us more to get back to Paris sometime soon. We will be going, and so the fact that that's pushed off back a little bit doesn't hurt my feelings at all.
Right. No, but that's exciting. There's another new excitement happening in 2026 in Disneyland Paris as well.
For sure. What are you talking about? Which one are you talking about here?
Well, that one I'm talking about is the Lion King area.
Yeah. So there is a new Lion King area coming to Disneyland Paris. It'll be Pride's
It's actually
Land.
after 2026.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Sorry.
I was thinking that was later than 2026.
Yeah, sorry.
Lion King is coming to Disneyland Paris. Pride Land's Lion King Land and Flume Ride will be coming to Disney Adventure World in Disneyland Paris. It's supposed to be like food, shopping, the whole thing. And I guess it's supposed to, from what I understand, it's supposed to kind of, the attraction itself is supposed to bring you from Simba coming from a cub on to being the king. And Flume Ride, Pride Rock right there in the concept art. It looks wonderful.
Yeah. And, we've talked about how some different stories really lend themselves to immersive experiences. And I think this one, where there is such iconic imaging that we all remember from the animation film of The Lion King, that we'll get to appreciate that in this ride, I'm sure.
Yeah, completely. It looks great, and I'm very excited for it. Now, this is where when you mentioned something new coming in 2026, I thought, well, what is she referring to?
I think I know which it is.
That's because there is something new coming, aside from what we just talked about coming in 2026. There's new nighttime spectaculars coming. First, there'll be one in 2025 that's coming to Disneyland, Park Disneyland in Disneyland Paris. So Disneyland Park out there. It's going to be a projection, basically show on the castle. And
it's the first time that they're going to have projections there on Main Street, USA.
So that's nice, and that's fun, and that's coming January of 2025, so very, very soon. But also 2026 at the Walt Disney Studios Park, specifically at Worlds of Adventure, there's going to be a new show that's going to have water screens and drones and effects and everything, and that's going to take place in the Central Lake area there at Worlds of Adventure.
Right, exactly. And, we've touched in the past how that park, has had a need to make some reimagination, bring it back to life. And they're going to officially rename that park Disney Adventure World with the opening of World of Frozen.
Yeah. So can't wait for that. That park is going to be spectacular when it's all done, with all the stuff that they're adding to it. And it desperately needed it. From the last time we were there, we went over there and we're like, okay, it's got Ratatouille and it's got a couple other things, but it's kind of a so-so park. But adding all this stuff to it is going to, it's really going to make this be, when you want to go to Disneyland Paris, a 2-park trip. You want to hit both parks.
Yeah.
You're going to definitely want to hit Park Disneyland, and you're going to want to hit Adventure World.
For sure.
Yeah. Completely. So moving on to Disney Cruise Line, big news out of Disney Cruise Line, and we'll just go off right at the back. Caught me completely off guard, 100% off guard. Maybe they were going to announce 1 new ship, maybe 2 new ships. Never thought they would announce 3 new ships or 4 new ships.
I know.
There are 4 new ships coming to Disney Cruise Line over the next several years. They're going to be built between 2027 and 2031. It's going to build the fleet out to 13 ships when they're done at 2031. 13 ships.
Crazy.
It wasn't that long ago that it was 2 ships.
Right.
It really wasn't that long ago that it was just the magic and the wonder. And then it was 4 ships for a long time with the dream and the fantasy added in. Now 13 is, I never thought there'd be 13 Disney Cruise Line ships.
Yeah, that's so exciting. And I'm sure that as time goes on, we're going to hear about some amazing locations that these newer ships will be journeying to.
It's so funny because we were so excited this year because we got on the Disney Dream and that completed. We had hit all 5 ships at that point. And then we knew, okay, well, the Treasure's coming, the Destiny's coming, the Adventure's coming. It's going to be awfully tough to be aboard those ships. Then they announced the new one coming to Tokyo that they're building soon here. We're like, oh man, when do we get to that one? Now 4 more ships. We're never going to get on board all of these ships, but we're excited to do our best effort to try. And I got to think now, I mean, with 13 ships, I mean, they're not going to, well, we obviously know they're not going to all be in Florida.
Right.
There's already some that are specifically going to Asia for sure. I got to think that they're going to be in some interesting new places to explore. Maybe there's a permanent ship over in Europe.
Right.
Maybe we've been wanting for this for a long time. Maybe they get a ship down at least part of the year in South America. We've really wanted to hit South America and would love to do it with Disney Cruise Line. Maybe that's where all sorts of new, unique, possible itineraries that can come out of this because they may have so many options with so many ships.
Right, exactly. Can't wait to hear about this as it unfolds.
Yep. Lots more coming in the next several years for sure. We also got a first look at the Tale of Moana, at least some concept artwork from it, which is coming to the Disney Treasure when that debuts. It'll include a huge Taka puppet that I guess is like 15 feet high. Yeah. Can't wait to see that. The concept artwork looks fantastic. We also learned what will be that show. I kind of thought this might be the case. The show that was missing from when they did all the Disney Destiny announcements just this last week. It is going to be Hercules that is going to be on board the Disney Destiny.
Totally makes sense. And that I'm sure is going to be, I mean, the music is super great from that film. And it's, going to be a super show that everybody can feel a part of.
Now, interesting now from the announcements that we've heard, we know a lot about what's coming on the Disney Treasure, and we now know a lot more about what's coming on the Disney Destiny. If you could only go on one of those ships, Michelle, we want to go on both, but which one would you pick? I'm curious.
Up until last week, I would have said the Treasure, but I think the Destiny, one, because it will also hold the lounge that is themed with the Haunted Mansion. And it's also going to have one that is associated with Pirates of the Caribbean. So, and I love Hercules, love the music, love that storyline and characters.
I'm so torn on this because there's some things that I really, really love about the Disney Treasure. Like I want to see the Coco dinner show experience. I think the Lion King one will be fantastic as well. That will be great. But we love Coco. We love Coco. And I think that will be spectacular. And I'd be excited to see that. I'm going to take the itineraries out of this because I'm just going to base it on the ship because we tend to like longer cruises and the Treasure is going to be doing 7 nights. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, the Destiny looks like it's going between 4 and 5 nights. Right. I guess you could put those both together and make a 9-night. Not bad. But so I'm going to take that a little bit out of it. I love the Moana stage show, but man, we love Hercules. And I think Hercules will be a fantastic stage show. And I love the heroes, villains concept theme. Right. I think I'm leaning toward the Disney Destiny as well. Just slightly. Again, taking the itineraries out of it, just slightly leaning toward the Disney Destiny.
And it's exciting. The bookings will be able to start in September. So we're so close.
It's coming sooner than we thought.
Less than a month away. The Castaway key members will be able to, or Castaway Club, I should say, members will be able to start booking some of the itineraries for the Destiny.
Nate, you may be getting a call from us. Just letting you know. So moving on, this is where I thought we were going to get a lot of announcements, and we did get several. Not as many as I actually thought we were going to get, but we did get several huge announcements. That's for Disneyland over in Anaheim, of course. Disneyland, the U.S. park, the Disneyland Resort. We did get some big announcements from them. I'll start with Disneyland Park. We are going to receive the first ever Walt Disney audio animatronic. He's coming to Disneyland for Walt Disney, A Magical Life, which will debut inside the Main Street Opera House in rotation with great moments with Mr. Lincoln. So Mr. Lincoln's not going away. They're just going to do 2 different shows. So you can have 2 different experiences. You could do both. You can do one or the other. Love the concept artwork that came with it. Walt there kind of just sitting in his office. We've been to his office. It looks very much like his office. And supposedly this is going to be a extremely state-of-the-art audio animatronic.
Yeah, I mean, obviously when they first open, they're going to focus on maintaining that show, and then eventually do the rotation with great moments with Mr. Lincoln. I'm excited that this is going to be available and opening in 2025. It seems really appropriate since that's going to be the 70th anniversary year for Disneyland Park, the original park, and they at the D23 Expo, they did announce plans to officially celebrate Disneyland's 70th anniversary. So I think this is a great tie-in. I think it's going to be very heartfelt, especially at that time.
Yep, Disneyland 70 coming. They did mention that as well, that it's going to be a big year for Disneyland Park, specifically because that is the original park, 70 years old. It's quite a milestone, and that is going to be a big year for sure.
Yeah.
Also, we did find out when Tiana's Bayou Adventure is going to be opening at Disneyland, and that will be on November 15th as of this point right now, that is of this year. So it's coming fairly soon. I would expect if you're a Disneyland Magic Key holder, DVC, etc., keep an eye out here in the next few months for any previews, soft openings, whatever that might be coming for that attraction, just like they did out here at Walt Disney World at Magic Kingdom, right,
Yeah,
Michelle?
hopefully. Yeah, I mean, it's exciting that it's going to be available for the holidays. So people planning trips there during the holidays of this year are going to be able to get to realize this very amazing attraction.
I wonder if they do another D23 event like we went to for Tiana's out here, because if they do, I'm telling you, do it. It was phenomenal. I'm so happy we did that. It was such a great way to experience Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
Right.
So I don't know if they're going to do it, but if you're a D23 Gold member and they offer it to you, take them up on it. It was well worth the money we spent on that, which wasn't ridiculous,
right?
But it was well worth it for sure.
Yeah, this may be the year. If you're not a gold member, you might want to start thinking about doing that.
Definitely. Let's go ahead and move on to where the real information came out. Disney California Adventure Park. We've said it for a while. We love Disney California Adventure Park. It's one of our favorite Disney parks, hands down. But we knew they needed more attractions there. And they're getting more attractions for sure. Starting with a new Avatar area that's coming. There's going to be a boat ride attraction there. It's going to be mostly based on Avatar: The Way of Water. However, I think that Fire and Ash is going to be included in that as well. But it will be a boat ride attraction. You know, it's one thing that Disney California Adventure Park has not had. They do not have any boat ride attractions, which is weird for a Disney park not to have any boat ride attractions.
Right. Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, this one sounds incredible.
Yeah. And Avatar, the lands have been very popular. The movies are, there's a lot of people who are like, I don't care about Avatar, yet the movies continue to crush at the box office when they come out. So I'm interested to see where that goes and what's coming from that. And it's exciting. Speaking of boat rides, Coco is coming to Disney California Adventure Park. They're breaking ground for that in 2026, so it's still going to be a ways off by the time they get to that. But it's funny because just a couple months ago, we were talking about some things, and I was mentioning how I felt. I can't remember what the episode was that we were discussing, but how I felt. Maybe it was our Ask Us Anything. I think somebody asked us the question of what would we like to see in Disneyland Forward.
Right.
And I mentioned that I think it's a perfect fit. Coco is a perfect fit for Southern California with the Latino Mexican influence that's out there already, that a Coco dark ride of some sort would be perfect and would fit right in that Disney California Adventure area. And sure enough, they are building one now, and it's a boat ride, and I love boat rides too. So that is going to be even more phenomenal.
Oh yeah. It looks like it's going to be beautiful. And I know Josh, he announced, and I'm going to quote him, we're bringing our skeleton cast of characters to life in a big way through the latest audio animatronic technology. These figures will appear in ways you'll have to see to believe.
Yeah.
So, again, concept art, it's always going to look phenomenal, but like you said, it definitely leads itself to be in that park. And I mean, they already have a lot of the influences, and throughout the year they have celebrations. They're getting ready to again have celebrations there related to some of the Coco films, and so this just fits perfectly. I think it's going to be a great addition there.
Yeah, 100% fits the area, 100% fits the park, and it's one of the best movies, one of our favorite movies. I can't wait to see what this attraction becomes here in the next several years. Very excited for it. I think when I mentioned it, I thought it was going to be like a ride on the cable cars to the land of the dead or something.
Right,
I didn't think of a boat ride, but I like the boat ride concept. Maybe they took what they were possibly thinking of doing a little bit over at the Grand Fiesta Tour and decided, you know what, we can make this even bigger and better.
Yeah.
Rather than just kind of doing just a replacement of what's the Grand Fiesta Tour at Epcot, and do it something really, really big at Disneyland, Disney California Adventure Park.
Yeah, I mean, it looks, and I'm sure with what they're planning to do, it's going to be, again, a very immersive experience for people to go through that boat ride.
Right. Can't wait for it.
Yep.
Can't wait. Other things we can't wait for. Look, we have talked about in the past. We love Avengers Campus as it is right now. We think it's better than some people think, at least in our opinion, for what we kind of like. But if you're going to add a couple of, not one, but 2 attractions to that park, doubling in size, well, that's pretty big news. That was huge announcement coming out of this panel. We already kind of knew about one of these attractions. We'd seen a little bit about it at Destination D23. Right. Last year, we learned a little bit more about it. It's going to be called Avengers Infinity Defense. We saw a little bit the concept between the ride vehicle. We know it's going to be some of the Avengers taking on King Thanos in that. It looks like it's going to be a amazing attraction, and I'm very excited for it. What we didn't know was that there's also another attraction coming in, Stark Flight Lab, which will, apparently it's going to take you on different test flights with different heroes. The one thing I'd say about it, though, when I was looking at the concept art, I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever be able to ride that, because that is like just triggering my motion sickness just looking at people sitting in, or even the concept art of people sitting in that attraction.
Right. Yeah. You're 2 people sitting together in a pod. It does have the over shoulder straps is what it looks like. It says a robot arm grabs your pod and starts whirling you around in a simulated flight. It does definitely look like an amazing adventure ride, but yeah, I agree with you. Motion sickness would probably play a part in this if you have that kind of situation, but who knows?
It kind of, the ride system kind of reminds me, and we've done this attraction. It was, from Universal, but we've done this attraction. It looks a little bit like Harry Potter Forbidden Journey, a little bit, the way they have you placed in this machine. I think it looks a little different, right, but it also looks a little bit the same. And I know that attraction shook me up a bit. I was able to survive it without getting too nauseated or anything, but that one shook me up a bit. So I don't know about this one. I'll have to wait and see on it, but I'm excited that there's a new attraction coming. Also,
well, just the fact too, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, go ahead.
The fact that they're expanding that area of the park. I mean,
yeah,
we've always felt like, because they utilize what was a Bugs Land, yeah, which was a smaller portion of that park anyways. But what they have there really fits, and they kind of expanded, I guess, what that land included with having what was the Tower of Terror being transferred over to Guardians Galaxy's Mission Breakout. Mm-hmm. So, but adding even more space to this is just tremendous.
I don't know where they're finding the space, but they obviously have plotted it all out, and I can't wait to find out more about it. You can see a little bit in the concept art. It looks like there's a little bit kind of by where the Sanctum is, and heading over towards Cars Land. That area looks like they're building out a portion of it. I don't know if they're building out a portion to the other side as well, but either way, just very excited that they're going to add 2 more new phenomenal attractions to that land.
Right. And both of those rides will include Robert Downey Jr. as he reprises his role as Tony Stark, and construction beginning 2025.
Yeah, part of that big contract he probably signed to come back with Dr. Doom. I think that this was probably included in it all. We saw a picture of Bob Iger and Robert Downey Jr. sitting in the attraction seating or whatever, together. And so that's fun. Yeah, glad that we're going to have the real actor behind the voice between that, especially since it's so Stark related. But, even the Avengers one, I'm sure there will be a lot of Iron Man involved in that as well. So that'll be great. Construction on that all starts next year, apparently. Yeah, so, very cool. I don't think we are done with Disneyland announcements. I mean, obviously we're not getting them now, but I do believe there's more to come. I do think that part of this Disneyland Forward is going to be even more expansive than what we've just heard. I don't think they're stopping with this, but that may be coming maybe in Destination D23 next year, maybe at the next D23 Expo. I don't know. Maybe sometimes some other stuff in between that could be coming as well. But I would be surprised if this is all we're going to hear from what is coming to that new expansion of Disneyland, the Disneyland area, the Disneyland Resort.
Especially since, as Disneyland Forward was going through the process of getting approval and did get approval, we know that there was some additional information being shared about that and how they're going to incorporate some more features to that area. So I'm sure we're going to be hearing more. Yeah,
they maybe just be settling in on what is going where and how it's going to fit and everything else. But I feel there's more to come. We'll see. But I feel there's more to come.
Plus, they had so much here to announce. So.
Right. Well, that's true. Boy, what did they? Let's get to the other big portion of this, the Walt Disney World portion, probably a portion that a lot of you were waiting and very excited to hear about. We'll kind of progress through the parks here. We'll start with Epcot. Not a lot of, big stuff came out of Epcot. They just completed working on a lot of stuff at Epcot. However, we did find out that there's going to be apparently a Spaceship Earth lounge that will open apparently soon in 2025 at Epcot. That's fun.
Yeah. They said it's they are taking inspiration from the actual Spaceship Earth attraction, and they said the Zen space for families to gather and enjoy refreshments will be draped with rich textures and warm metallic tones, giving it a mysterious and elegant intimacy. Is how they describe it. We've seen the changes as they've added to that area of the park, and I think this lounge sounds like it'll fit in great with that, and I love having another area that you can just take a break from. And we all love Spaceship Earth and that attraction, that theme. So having something themed to that sounds fun.
I'm very happy. Can't wait to see where this goes. And it's going to be not too long before we'll get hopefully a chance to experience it very, very soon. And that's good stuff. We already knew that Test Track is being reimagined. They had talked a little bit more about that as well. It's already closed down. They've already started their reimagining of it. Apparently, it's going to look into the past, present, and future of automation. So it should be very exciting to find out more as that progresses and hopefully opens before too long.
Right. Well, it's opening in 2025. They didn't give what time of year, but what's really cool, and I know this was already talked about before, but the fact that they're trying to draw some inspiration from the original
The World of Motion.
Right, World of Motion that was there sounds really cool. It sounds like it's going to be a really fun ride to go through, but still see a lot of material that's being rolled out within that industry. I also like the fact that they're trying to incorporate the theme of how, and this is how they put it, new show scenes will showcase technology advances and how our lifestyles and relationships to mobility connect everyone. I mean, we're seeing that theme of connection with everybody in Luminous. And so I think having that storyline be presented here as well just reinforces that, in our world, there's more things that we have in common than not. And I love that.
Yeah, we got that going on in Spaceship Earth as well. So Epcot's really focusing on that, and that is very, very good. And Test Track 2.0 was not our favorite attraction. I mean, it was fine. It was enjoyable. But it was not something that we went out of our way to try and get on. I'm excited for this version of it. I can't wait to see how this turns out, and we'll see. Maybe it won't be when it's all said and done. But right now, I
sounds like a new favorite. Actually.
It's going to be one of those that are going to be a regular do when we're at Epcot for sure. Moving over to Animal Kingdom Park, again, this was stuff that was mostly sort of announced already, but there was more confirmations than anything else. Just making sure you don't think this is just blue sky stuff. Like, this is really happening. The new Zootopia show that's replacing It's Tough to Be a Bug will open in winter of 2025. So that's going to be very, very soon. And we love Zootopia. I know there's some people that will dispute and say that Zootopia doesn't belong in the animal kingdom. Fine. I am excited for it. I am happy. I love Zootopia. I can't wait for Zootopia 2. And I'm interested. We had no real interest in It's Up to Be a Bug. I mean, not that it was a bad show.
Fine that we
it's
saw
a fine
it,
show, but it was a little creepy show. So, and this one might be too. But I'm excited to find out what it's going to be like.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the fact that it's Animal Kingdom Park, that having something about animals coming together does fit. And
animals wearing pants.
Yes. It's a G-rated animal show.
Yeah. And look, people are like, well, it draws away from what the animals really are. It's different. It's not, it's humanizing essentially these animals. And yes, it is. But I'll tell you this also, if you watch Zootopia, in a lot of the animators and the storytellers really looked in how animals react in the wild. And a lot of the stuff that the animals do in the wild, they just do while wearing pants and, being very human style within that movie. I think that, and so, there is a little bit of that. And look, the kids are going to love it. That's all there is to it.
Right. And, we could go into the, like, Walt's, whole approach to the Bambi film and how he made sure his animators actually got to see and understand animal movement, and more importantly, how to get to the heart, the emotion of that. And Zootopia obviously works on that as well. So completely. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that's all about. Tropical Americas. Yes, it will open in 2027. Dino Land. We've known it's been going for a while. Now this was complete confirmation of that. The Indiana Jones attraction will be a completely new story, unique to Walt Disney World. So they're not just taking what's over at Disneyland and putting it over here. Yes, it's going to be similar. It looks like it's going to be the same ride features, which of course, because, Dinosaur is the same kind of attraction, the same kind of car, same kind of ride experience, but it's going to be tell an all new story, which is good news. Yeah. That whole area sounds like it's going to be wonderful.
Right.
Beautiful.
The one that I'm excited about, especially, I'm not excited about the Indiana Jones. I love the Indiana Jones attraction at Disneyland. I'm excited for this one as well. But the Encanto, we love Encanto, the Encanto attraction, where apparently guests are going to get to arrive on the day Antonio gets his gift to communicate with animals. Then the casita brings the furniture to life to allow us to travel through the house. So I love the casita, and I think that's fun. You can do a lot of fun stuff with that. And I think this was kind of speculated on what if they did this, how would it play into Animal Kingdom, and the fact that Antonio's gift, his special power was talking to animals, fits right in with the park, and I think that's amazing.
Yeah. They're also going to have a carousel there, and the storyline behind that is a woodcarver created a giant carousel featuring his favorite animals from Disney stories. So I think that sounds so charming. And they're going to have the largest quick service restaurant at Walt Disney World in that land as well. It's a large hacienda, and looking forward to that and trying some new dishes out at Animal Kingdom Park for sure.
Yeah, love it. Love it very much, and I'm very excited for this area. Work on the land apparently is going to be done in phases, so they're going to be closing phases of it. They say that Dinosaur might be the last of the phases to close. So if you're still looking to get on Dinosaur before it goes away, you may still have your opportunity, but I would jump on it just the same.
Yeah,
just the same. But yeah, very, very excited for that area and all that's to come there. All that's they've talked about is happening within the Tropical Americas portion.
Yeah, I think this land and the attractions that they're going to have there will draw a lot more interest for a broader scope of people to want to go to Animal Kingdom Park. I know that, some people feel like, oh, is this just kind of like a enlarged or glorified zoo? And I can do that at other places in the in the country. So this sounds like it's going to have some appeal to kids, but even adults. I mean, who doesn't as adults loving Indiana Jones, and so it sounds like it's going to really be a better draw to that park than what they've had currently.
I think it balances out that park. I think that you're going to have your people who want to see, focus on the animals and doing all that stuff, and maybe doing the thrill rides of course, Everest, or doing Flight of Passage or whatever, and there's that, and you'll still love that, and you still can do that, and you don't need to go to this portion of the park at all if you don't feel like you're into Encanto, or if you don't feel like you're into the Indiana Jones attraction or whatever it might be. But I think that this is going to draw in a new, like Michelle just mentioned, a new group of people in that are going to want to. Encanto was a huge film,
right?
And they need to jump on that while the iron's hot. They will definitely bring people in. And Indiana Jones has been so big for so long that there'll be people that want to check it out. I think it's great. I'm excited. Can't wait. Moving over to Disney's Hollywood Studios, there was some big news coming out of that, including a new Monsters, Inc. themed area, which was really good for us because we love Monsters, Inc. It was the first Disney, or I guess it was technically a Pixar, but Disney type film that we saw together as a couple.
Right.
So it is something that's close to our heart. So we're very excited for a Monsters, Inc. themed area. And there's construction on a new door-themed coaster will begin next year, where apparently you'll go into the factory and experience the first suspended coaster ever in a Disney park. They say, remember in the movie how those claws grab the doors and hoist them up in the air to take them away? Well, you're going to be doing that too, and you're going to go along for the ride. We've talked about this. I don't remember if we talked about it on the air, but I know we've talked about it off the air several times, how that track system to us shouted that should be an attraction. And whether it be the doors, or we also from Monsters at Work, they have these kind of little cars that they take through to kind of do some work on some of those areas.
Right.
We thought, oh, that's an attraction vehicle right there. And it doesn't look like from the concept art, they're using that exact same thing, but kind of that same concept.
Yeah. It definitely does look like that. And it is funny that we've talked about this concept previously. Thank you for listening, Disney. We appreciate that.
If you just want to invite us to some previews, we'll gladly give you ideas. We don't mind. That's all we ask, is just in trade. We're not going to call into any litigation or anything. Just a couple of invitations to go check some of this out, a little early. It would be great.
Or maybe what we should be telling people is that, so we have all the inside scoop.
That's it.
We announce it before Disney does.
Wink, wink, yes.
But going back to the fact that there's going to be the Monsters, Inc. land area, I think that is phenomenal. Again, I think that'll fit right into Disney Hollywood Studios. My one thing that I wondered is, like, will Laugh Factory end up moving? They don't usually move attractions, but it seems like it could fit into this because this land is going to be, again, based on after the other film, the original film ended, and where Laugh power is.
It's laughter we're after.
That's right. So, but it's, I think too, that to have an area, we've talked about this in other lands when we've researched and talked about other countries' lands. Monsters, Inc. land looks amazing and something that is very relatable in people who love that franchise. Yeah.
My only main concern is where they place this. I don't want, look, Muppets Vision 3D could use a little modernizing or whatever, but I love the Muppets and I don't want to see the Muppets go away. # save the Muppets. I hope that's not the area they're considering. I hope they're moving it to the other side, more near like Rock and Roller Coaster in that area. I think that is better suited for something like this. That's my only concern, but I don't care. I want to see this come to the parks. I think it's a great concept and a great idea.
Yeah.
And you can do a lot of fun things with it.
It seems, yes, this Doors ride definitely is an attraction that's going to be very exciting that a lot of people will want to participate in. But again, having that land, having more to it, more things to do, opportunities for meet and greets will be I think just elevating that experience more than just one attraction.
Yep. We'll see what happens. But I'm excited for it, and I think it's going to be great. And somebody pointed out in the concept art, some of the people that are walking around in the land of the concept art, and they had some interesting food they were carrying and some fascinating merchandise that they had on. I'm like, oh man, yeah. I mean, what you could think about the monsters food and the monsters merchandise, it would be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, they've talked about, even in the films, they've mentioned different things. So I think they have a lot of opportunity. And the
kids will get a kick out of it. You know how kids, especially young boys or whatever, are like, when food has a gross name to it, they're like, they're all excited about it. And that's totally what happens in Monsters, Inc. So that's great.
Yeah.
Also, the other Disney Hollywood Studios announcement, this is also a Disneyland announcement. A Mandalorian focus story is coming to Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. So in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, that is going to be slightly changing. I don't know if they're going to go back and forth on it or if they're just changing the storyline and this is what the storyline will be. You know, they didn't say if they'll be different. I don't know if you saw anything else that said anything different as far as whether you might have the possibility of having one or the other.
No, I haven't seen that. It just talks about the new version of the ride and that it will be opening at both parks and that it's going to be debuting probably around the release of the film.
Yeah. So they will at least have that one
May of 26
new version. I don't know if they'll be cycling and you could do the other version as well, but it will be good to kind of shake things up and do something a little different in Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, even though the one that they have right now, I'm perfectly fine with. I love it. But it will be cool to have a new storyline attached to that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, probably, to me, I'm looking at this maybe like Soaring. And with the new movie release and having this be the theming of that attraction during that new movie release, maybe sticking around for a while and every once in a while bring back the original one. I don't know.
Or maybe they change it up and do something different from time to time. We'll see. We'll see what happens with that for sure.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting that they announced that during the Fortnite.
That was the one park announcement we got out of the Fortnite portion of the panel. That was funny.
Right.
That was great. But it's an exciting announcement because we love Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and it'll be good to have a new storyline attached to Smuggler's Run. That's great. Moving on to Magic Kingdom, big news out of Magic Kingdom. Starting with something we knew was kind of coming, but we got a little bit of a better peek at it. The new Pirates of the Caribbean lounge that is coming. We got a little peek at the concept art, and I don't know what you kind of got the feeling out of that picture of it, that concept art, but it looked to me almost like I compared it to, it was a Pirates version of Oga's Cantina to me. It looks like interesting things are going to happen, interesting concoctions, maybe that'll be very immersive with the cast members that are manning the bar and et cetera. Who knows when a character might pop in there or something might break down or who knows what happens, but that's kind of was my viewpoint of that. Just taking that just from one picture that I saw.
Right. Yeah. I can see, I'm pulling up that picture now and seeing what you're saying. And I agree. I think it does have that type of feel to it, that it will be similar in that regard. So I
don't know anything other than looking at that picture. That's just kind of what I gleamed off of it, if nothing else.
Right. Yeah. No, I think you might be onto something
But
there.
I'm sure as with that gets close to opening, which I believe it opens next year at some point, we will find out more about that in the very, very near future. Also, big news, everybody who has been pining for this for the longest time, well, you're going to get fulfilled very soon. We're finally getting another nighttime parade at Walt Disney World. Disney Starlight debuts in summer of 2025 at Magic Kingdom. It's featuring Peter Pan, Encanto, Frozen, plenty more. Again, great concept art. Looks beautiful. Looks stunning. Looks like it's going to have a lot of great lighting that's going to make it perfect for a nighttime parade. Right, Michelle?
Yeah, I can't believe that it's been so long since they've had that. It's definitely, like you said, so many people have been really wanting to see a nighttime parade come back. And so very excited that that's going to be actually not too long.
No, next summer.
Yeah.
So about a year from now, I mean, probably a little bit earlier than a year from now, we are going to be having a nighttime parade once again at Magic Kingdom Park, and that's exciting. I'm very excited for that. I hope they have some sort of dessert package or dining package or whatever where we can get a premium spot for it to check it out, because we're bougie that way.
Yes.
We will probably pay for it at least once. Also, a little bit controversial, but I think good news. Cars is coming to Frontierland at Magic Kingdom with 2 new attractions. One will be a thrilling ride through the mountains. The other more of a so-called family-friendly attraction. Now, they wanted to specifically say that this is not going to be a carbon copy of Radiator Springs coming from the West Coast to the East Coast. This is going to be something new, something different, something that they feel kind of fits in the area of Frontierland.
Right. They're reimagining Frontierland anyways. And so having these attractions be more what you would see cars from that franchise doing outside of Radiator Springs is how I took what they were kind of saying, that they're kind of moving beyond Radiator Springs and some things that they could be experiencing outside of there.
From the concept art for the thrilling attraction, it looks like you're going to be doing some sort of off-road race, like they said, through the mountains out there. And that's fun. So kind of an off-road version of the Radiator Springs Racers, but just done in a different way, I think. I mean, I'm sure, like you said, it's not going to be a carbon copy, but I think kind of similar concept working there.
Right. I mean, they're talking about a thrilling rally race. And so to me, that reminds me a lot of Cars 3, where you saw
A lot of dirt track racing and stuff. Yeah.
Outside of a regular, normal racetrack, but they said you're going to be, racing across the landscape, climbing mountain trails, dodging geysers, and of course, Mater's favorite, splashing through mud holes. So,
that'll be fun. I'm excited. Not everybody loves cars. Not everybody loves cars, but the kids love cars. They do, and we love love Cars Land. Yes. And if they can come even close to Cars Land at Disney California Adventure Park, this will be a hit of a land.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's not going to have probably the charm that you experience at when you're going at Disney California Adventure, where you feel you're part of Radiator Springs town. But this sounds more of the fun and the characters related. You get more of the character feel, I guess. Not maybe more, but an additional aspect of that. I do like that they're going to have that second attraction that they said is really geared towards younger racers, so that it has some balance if you have kids that, I don't know if they're going to have height restrictions or whatever, but can't go on that one ride, that they'll have a themed ride that they can go on.
Yeah.
So
completely. Or if you're not into more of the thrilling rides. And I don't know how thrilling, it seems like it'll be, especially knowing Cars, I'm sure it'll be family friendly thrilling.
Right.
That's kind of what I would take out of this. I think that it's going to be approachable, but yes, something for the younger kids as well to enjoy, which is always good. And something for all of us to enjoy.
Yeah.
I like some of the family-friendly attractions.
Right. And what they said, like I mentioned, they're reimagining Frontierland. We've already had announcements of, some of the changes that they're making there. So this was not what's beyond Big Thunder. This is within Frontierland itself. So I think that's a unique information that we received about this.
Completely. I completely agree with you. So it'll be interesting, and I'm looking forward to finding out more of this as we move forward. But I like it. I like that. And finally, they wrapped up this panel with the biggest news, the news that people have been dying for a long time. And I think that they've put feelers out here with a couple of different things that they've done over the last several years. And they've decided that, yes, we are going to go ahead and do this. A Villain's Land. Yes, a Villain's Land is coming to Magic Kingdom Park at the Walt Disney World Resort.
Right. And, this is what they're saying is beyond the Big Thunder area, where they have space to have a brand new land and have new offerings that will be totally incredible with this theme. Like you said, already there's been experiences. They're having a new ship with the theming that to include villains as well, that they know people really embrace the villains in a fun way. And so I think this fits right in a very fun, a lot of great storytelling opportunities too.
I think Disney has seen it recently. I know that they've kind of steered away from this for a long time because, look, you don't really want to celebrate villains. They do bad things. They sometimes in some of these movies kill people,
Right.
you know, I mean, they do really evil things. So it's tough to want to embrace that and think that that's family friendly, but it's been shown that, you know, whether it be the Halloween parties, whether it's Mickey's Not So Scary or the Oogie Boogie Bash, how much people love to go and get their photos taken, or, you know, be, you know, joking with some of these villains, you know, or watching, you know, Cruella walking down the Main Street USA or whatever it might be, or, you know, seeing Maleficent somewhere, or the Evil Queen or whatever it might be. And then there's, yes, the Top of the World Lounge that they changed into the villain's lair. And it's very subtle, but there's stuff going on there that okay, that's a look at villains. And then, yes, as you just mentioned, the Disney Destiny that has a heroes villains theme. So there's going to be a lot of villainy going on aboard that ship as well. And how much people embrace that. I think that they finally said, yes, we are listening to you. We do have to do this, and the people will love it. And we can do this in a fun and interesting way that is still family friendly at the same time. The space will apparently be home to 2 what they call major attractions, dining, shopping on an incredibly twisted scale is what they said. Construction apparently has already started. There's no official timeline yet, but this, they say, is a big one. Apparently, according to Scott Gustin, he expects permits to be falling soon. So if you're looking for some more insight into what that land might partake, he usually goes through those permits and kind of gives a concept of what it kind of looks like as well. So keep an eye on social media, especially on Twitter, for that.
Right. I'm going to put out a prediction that they're going to open this land some year around Halloween.
Do you think so?
Well, I mean, it just would make sense. I mean, but the whole...
Or some Friday the 13th or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, where they're talking that it's going to be, you know, dark and thorny. It just, to me, lends to having that theming first be released during a Halloween time of the year.
Yeah, it's going to be great. You know, you get some of these villains and they are just a crack up as long as you don't take them too seriously and some of their misdeeds too seriously. You know, it's all animated and all in mostly good fun.
Right.
If you can just enjoy the situation. I mean, just like, you know, we've heard from Epic Universe that they're doing their classic monsters kind of area as well.
Right.
Embracing that and celebrating it, and just still knowing that you know, when it's all said and done, good triumphs over evil.
Right.
And that's good. I'm excited for it. I think it's a great idea, and I can't wait to see what this land becomes.
Yes.
So that's it. What do you think, Michelle? What of all those announcements we went through, what was maybe your 1 or 2 standout announcements that you're most excited about?
Gosh, I could name a number of them. I guess if for right, you know, like whenever we do a top 5, it's like at this moment could change. But I since Avengers Campus is one of my favorite places, I love Disney California Adventure Park. I would say that between California Adventure Park and Epcot, they were so close. And on some days, I would even put Disney California Adventure above Epcot. Not all the time, but sometimes. But Avengers Campus by far is one of my most favorite lands to visit. And knowing that they're going to be expanding that, you know, even larger and adding additional attractions is just so thrilling to me.
Very good.
Yeah. What about you?
It'd be easy for me. I think it's an easy fallback to say the Villains Land. I'm very excited to find out what more to come on Villains Land. And I think that'll be a really interesting land to visit. I think I could say that, but I'll go with both the Coco and Encanto attractions that are coming. I love both those films. I'm excited to see what their attractions are going to come from that, because I think they're going to be amazing, magical, wonderful, fantastic. And I can't wait to see what happens. And they're on different coasts, so we can experience them at different times. Those I think are the ones I think I'm excited for. So many of these things, but those are probably the ones that most excite me at this moment, just like you said.
Yeah.
Ask me in 5 minutes.
Right.
It'll be something different, but
Yeah.
that one.
I mean, the one thing that I guess on a more, I don't want to say maybe selfish, personal basis, because we've, been really anxious to hear about these announcements. It seems like Destination D23 will be in a great time to provide some real concrete information about a lot of these new, even though they're not blue sky, but to give some more details, some more dates, some more whether it's artist imaging or artist concepts or actual images of some of the productions that's going to be coming out, I think will be really exciting in 2025.
Yeah. We should be finding out more about Destination D23 maybe today, but very soon. And then, of course, also where and when the D23 Expo a couple years from now will be. I assume it'll be back in Anaheim. It seems like it's been successful there. I would love to see it come back here, but I don't know if it functions as well here as it does out there in Anaheim. So we'll see what happens. But I'm just excited for it all. I knew this was going to be big. You knew it was going to be big. It was big, and I think it's huge for Disney fans.
Yeah, I think it gives so much to look forward to for all ages and all over the world. Different types of experiences. I know that I can't remember what percentage it was, but to quote one of my favorite droids, it was high. Percentage of people actually experience Disney not in the parks, but outside of the parks. And so I was glad to see that there's a lot of rich things coming outside of the parks as well.
Yeah. Really great news. I'd love to know what your favorite thing is that came out of this announcement, all these announcements. What are you most looking forward to? What are you most excited about? Let us know, and we will probably share them on an upcoming show. Right, Michelle?
Exactly.
So that is our discussion of the D23, the Ultimate Disney Fan Event announcement. So many big announcements came out last night. I just can't get over it all. And apparently we can't get over talking about it because we've gone very, very long.
Yeah,
Michelle.
sorry about that.
That's okay. The good news is we don't have a lot left. That's because the Disney stories of the week were pretty much taken up with our main topic of the week. However, we do need to talk about our Year of Lin. And this also ties back into what we've already discussed. Because, as I already mentioned, yes, Lin Manuel Miranda is writing not just one song, a few songs for the new Mufasa film. He came out on stage. It was his first ever D23 appearance, which more reason why I can't believe we didn't make it out there. But he did showcase, apparently, it was for just those that were there, but then at least a piece of the new song along with some new footage. So here's some of the interesting stuff that came out when he showed up on there. So this came from Yahoo Movies UK.com. It said Hamilton creator Lin Manuel Miranda has teased a new song he has created for the upcoming Lion King prequel Mufasa. The composer previewed a catchy track titled "I Always Wanted a Brother" in a clip shown to the audience at Disney's fan convention D23. Oscar-winning filmmaker Barry Jenkins, who directed Mufasa, The Lion King, appeared on stage to introduce, quote, the one and only, quote, Miranda. He said his music has been stuck in all our heads at some point, whether it be Hamilton or Moana or We Don't Talk About Bruno. And I can say that the songs he created for our film are absolutely unbelievable. That's from Jenkins. Miranda said, I read the screenplay and you think you know Mufasa, you think you know Scar, and I had no idea. I could see where the songs went. It was such a joy to be in service of one of our great directors. From Deadline.com, they said Miranda said that he was in the middle of writing Encanto when he received the screenplay first, but upon reading it, the music began to form in his head in a way that he was compelled to take on the project. All the more reason why I'm so excited for Mufasa. More Lin Manuel Miranda, and he didn't get his Oscar. I thought he might for Encanto.
Right.
Tough to do it for the live action Little Mermaid. There was some stuff going on there that he wasn't able to do it. Didn't get it for Moana. Maybe this is the one that finally gets his EGOT
Yeah.
gets an Oscar from something that comes out of Mufasa. We can only hope. But either way, if Lin Manuel Miranda is tied to it, the soundtrack for Mufasa is going to be amazing.
Yeah, it'll be so wonderful and unique and really enhance that storytelling.
Yep. Completely. So that's a look back at our Year of Lin segment for this week. Again, we'll be doing this every week as we try and get Lin Manuel Miranda to at least acknowledge our show in some way, shape, or form over the next, how far are we into it now? Maybe 48 weeks, 47 weeks, something like that as we go through the entire year. Now, like I said, we're not doing Disney Stories of the Week, but before we get to our tips that might help you on your next vacation, we also remember we have that big announcements coming up, so you're going to want to stick around for that. But first, we need to talk about our great friend Nate with Main Street and More Travel, because let's face it, we all have trips we're thinking about taking in the very near future. Well, if you do, whether it be to Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise, or anywhere in the world beyond, let me tell you, Nate is the certified Disney vacation planner that you are going to want to get in contact with.
Oh my gosh, for sure. As we, mention all the time, he really has firsthand knowledge of things, so he can really help you plan, customize a trip that is going to be the best for you, answer your questions. It's really concierge level planning that doesn't cost you anything.
High end. It is high end stuff that he will help you out with, answer all your questions. He is there for you to make sure your trip, wherever it may be the best it possibly can be. And as Michelle mentioned, no extra cost to you. That's because either Disney or whatever other travel branch that he works through pays him for you. What you end up paying is exactly what you pay if you did all that work yourself. Only you can save that time and just relax and enjoy and let him set it all up for you.
Right. And you know what? He may even be able to save you some money from you doing it alone, because he is on top of all the deals and steals that are out there.
Yeah. I mean, there's never a guarantee, but let me tell you, if there's a discount out there, Nate will find it for you. So what you got to do is go to distripsandmore.com, fill out the form there, and just contact him, talk to him, tell him what you want to do, and let him get to work for you.
Right. So as Tom mentioned, once you fill out that form, Nate will be back in touch with you to start that planning, but be sure to tell him that Tom and Michelle sent you.
Yeah. Again, that's Nate with Main Street and More Travel. All right, let's go ahead and get to our tips of the week, because we got to get to Michelle's tip because, well, let's face it. She does the best research. She definitely has the best list. But one thing's for certain, she always has the best tips. So let's get to it. Here's Michelle's tip of the week.
All right. I'm going to keep this really brief because we've gone really long. I just want to remind people that if you're at the Magic Kingdom and you want to have your wishes imparted there is a wishes book at Pinocchio's house. That's the little quick service that's right by It's a Small World. You can go in there, you can ask a cast member to show you where that book is, and you can write your own wish to be left forever in that location.
Very cool. Something, and you can always look back on it later on trips that follow after that. And remember when we made that wish? Did it come true? Hopefully so. But that's good. Michelle's tip, always the best tip. My tip, very simply this week, if you're on the fence about doing some of these D23 Expo or Destination D23 events, get off the fence, do it. And this is more a tip for us to remind us, because boy, the FOMO this week has been so massive that we need to remind ourselves that we won't let this happen again. We will be at all the next events as long as we can secure a spot, of course. Don't miss out on the positivity, the amazing fun, the wonderful Disney announcements, the enormous positive, fun, amazing magic that comes out of these D23 Expo Destination D23 events.
For sure. For sure.
All right. So now we have a big announcement because this week's show is done. So we are starting to look forward to next week, and we are extremely excited for next week, because even though we know Michelle does the best research, well, we're going to have some people on that may give her a run for her money, right, Michelle?
Oh yeah. Okay. You may say I do the best research. Maybe I know that's not true. These people are true Disney historians, true authors, filmmakers, and we are so honored and delighted that we are going to have the most incredible guest speakers on our next show. We're talking Ted Thomas, who we've talked about, did the film of Walt and El Grupo that's on Disney Plus. He is the son of Disney legend Frank Thomas, an Imagineer, an animator who actually went on that tour. We also will be joined by J.B. Kaufman, who is also a well-known Disney historian, author, and he collaborated with this new hardbound edition that is going to be coming out with even more information about that historic tour, as well as Didier Guez, who's been a Disney historian since he was a teenager, and how he has been able to really connect with the real deal of people involved in the Disney company from even the 1980s throughout now, and with the Disney Family Museum, and is the head now of the Hyperion Historical Alliance. And you're going to be amazed to hear what these experts have to say.
Right. So they have a brand new hardcover monograph coming out, Walt Disney and El Grupo in Latin America. So they're going to discuss that. They put it all together. And we are very thrilled that they are willing to come on our show. And we can't wait to talk to them about this because we love Disney history. We were fascinated with the documentary. Now this book looks spectacular. It's recently been on sale. It was available at the D23 Expo. Hopefully you went by the Hyperion Historical Alliance booth to check it out, possibly pick up yours. But yeah, couldn't be more excited for this. It's bound to be an amazing interview. We're going to be doing this on the anniversary of when El Grupo actually left the United States, is when we're recording this to head off to South America. So even more exciting.
Yeah.
This is going to be phenomenal. It's going to be a big week for us, and we can't wait to hear more about this book and, of course, these amazing, amazing people.
Yeah. So this will actually drop on the 83rd anniversary, I believe, of the second day of that group, El Grupo, the Walt and El Grupo, being in South America. And so that's going to be really special for us. And
it's really, really good timing.
Yeah. We're lucky that it's timing out at that moment too.
Yeah. So that'll be a lot of fun. So you will definitely want to check out that show for sure.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But we appreciate that you joined us today. In the future, you can find us most everywhere you get podcasts. However, the very best place to find us is on our website, HyperionAdventuresPodcast.com. Also, we are on social media. We're on Twitter at Hyperion Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at Hyperion Adventures Podcast. If you are on Facebook, come on over and join us for some good, positive Disney energy fun on our Hyperion Adventures Facebook group. Also, we're on YouTube, and we're live every morning on YouTube. Want to find us there? We're at Hyperion Adventures Podcast. And if you ever want to contact us for any reason, please hit us up at our Gmail account, HyperionAdventuresPodcast@gmail.com.
And if you like this show, please tell a friend or family member.
Yep, that's the best way to let people know about this show. Word of mouth works really, really well. And thank you for listening to another episode of the Hyperion Adventures Podcast. We look forward to sharing some time with you again next week. It's going to be a big week. Until that time, I'm Tom.
I'm Michelle.
And we hope that you have a magical week.
Bye.